All right, let's talk about day 78. This wasn't just some date on a calendar. It was the single biggest stress test this protocol has ever seen. And now that the dust has settled, the results? Well, they tell a pretty powerful story.
But before we get into all of that, just a quick heads up, this is all for informational purposes. It's not financial advice, so please always do your own research.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start with the stress test itself, what everyone was afraid of versus what actually went down. Then we'll dig into that incredible rally, see how the yield engine literally got stronger, and take a look at the new supply numbers. After that, we'll peek ahead to day 83 before we wrap it all up with the final verdict.
Okay, let's get right into it. Day 78. This was it. This was the ultimate real-world exam for the protocol's core idea. This was the big one. So what was the fear scenario? A catastrophic dump. Over $2 million of selling pressure that could have sparked a death spiral. But what actually happened? The complete opposite. The market just soaked up 1.8 million tokens, and the price didn't just stabilize. It exploded up 56% from the bottom. Let's break down how this actually played out. Of the nearly 2.5 million tokens unlocked, a massive 26% were immediately restaked by holders who are in this for the long haul. At the exact same time, the protocol's defenses kicked in, burning over 35,000 tokens. And the rest? The market absorbed it all, which is what fueled that insane 56% recovery. And you have to understand, this was not luck. This wasn't a fluke. This was the anti-fragile design working exactly as it was supposed to, under the heaviest stress imaginable. So the core thesis of this whole thing, it wasn't just tested, it was confirmed, big time.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into that rally, because the price action here, it tells a really important story about what the market is actually thinking.
The pressure was absolutely on, and yeah, the price found a floor. It bottomed out at just over 5 cents right when the selling was at its peak. But here's the thing, it didn't hang out down there for long, not even close. In less than 24 hours, it didn't just climb back, it roared all the way back up to this level. We're talking a major rebound that completely wiped out any of the panic. And what's so important here is that this wasn't some isolated fluke. It wasn't just Plazm going up 56%. Its partner token, eShare, jumped 47% right there with it. That's not a dead cat bounce, my friends. That is the signal of a healthy, strong, and connected recovery.
So what does this all mean? It's a crystal clear signal. A bounce this powerful, after absorbing that much supply, shows you exactly how the market read the situation. It didn't see a catastrophe. It saw the 5 to 6 cent range as a major buying opportunity. Okay, but here's where things get really wild. While the entire protocol was busy defending against this massive supply shock, its economic engine, its core, was actually getting stronger. Think about this. In just 48 hours, right in the middle of all that chaos, 433 new bonds were created. That's a 9.5% jump in the system's ability to generate yield, happening at the exact moment of what should have been the greatest risk. It's kind of nuts. So instead of the system grinding to a halt, the stress actually poured fuel on the fire. More money came in, which created more bonds. Those bonds will create more yield, and that yield funds even stronger token burns. Simply put, the system literally fed on the stress. Let that sink in for a second. The protocol went into its biggest fight ever, and it came out the other side not just alive, but with a yield engine that's nearly 10% more powerful than before it all started. It came out stronger. Okay, so now that the dust has settled, what does the supply situation actually look like? The numbers have definitely changed. Right now, you've got about 2.71 million tokens total. Most of that, about 2/3, is now liquid. But check this out, a full quarter of the supply is still staked. That's that core group of believers who relocked their tokens without blinking an eye. Remember all that talk? All the fear and uncertainty for weeks? It was all about this one number, 1.8 million liquid tokens about to hit the market. This was the big, scary monster under the bed. And what happened? The market just ate it up. It was absorbed. And now that ongoing cycle of restaking and burning is just going to keep shrinking that liquid supply over time. The threat was met, and the threat is over. So we passed the test. We have the data. So what about the next one? How should we be thinking about the next big unlock? Well, we've got another one coming up fast. In just 4 days, day 83 hits, and with it comes another 1.4 million tokens. This is the last of the really big waves. Now that sounds like a lot, right? But let's put it in perspective. It's only 59% of the size of what the protocol just handled. And here's the kicker. After this next one, we're pretty much in the clear. The big supply storms will be behind us. Nothing after that is even close to this size.
All right, let's bring it all home. What's the final verdict here? When you look back at day 78, what's the one thing you should take away from it?
Look, this wasn't just about survival. It was about validation. The biggest unlock in history gets absorbed. The price stages a monster recovery, and the yield engine actually gets more powerful from the chaos. Day 78 proved the thesis. It proved that this protocol doesn't break under pressure. It compresses, it burns, it restakes, and it comes out the other side stronger. That is what anti-fragile by design really means.